Actually, if you, as you can see, we're actually in iTunes here first. And what we're going to do is, this is kind of a common thing. If you're working on a demo reel or anything like that, you're going to want to pick a song, obviously. And then most people show in Finder, and up comes the MP3 file here. As soon as it finds it, got it on a slow drive, all my audio. And there's my audio, and here we go, and we're gonna drag it into After Effects. And again, this is on a slow drive. It should show up. Let's make sure. Here it comes. And again, this is what kind of most people do. They bring it into their project. Here's the comp we have up and going. They bring it in. And now here we go. There's an MP3 in here, and you could start editing and playing around. Now, I just hit the period key on the keyboard, which means, there it goes, which means the audio will play. So everything seems to be going just fine. You bring it in and you edit your reel, or you time out your music, or bring in sound effects. And what's going to happen when you export this out, you're going to get some clicks and pops and stuff in your final render. And if you've ever had audio issues in your final render through After Effects, it'll basically sound like things are glitching. It's just a little bit, maybe every second or two. It just kind of like does a little pop or something like that. If any of your renders have ever had that, that's because you're using an MP3 in After Effects. Don't do that. So what you actually should be doing is going to find this MP3 and actually open it in QuickTime. Which, why don't I have QuickTime open? Here we go, QuickTime Player, ba-bam, of course. We bring it into QuickTime, and then what you're going to want to do is export it. Oh, yeah, I don't want to see that woman. You want to export it as a QuickTime or an AIFF file. You can actually come in here and say, movie to AIFF. And what that's going to do is put it in a format that After Effects will read properly. So I'm going to, good, I got a little glitch there or something. That's fun. So, so again, you're going to save that out. Let me make sure this is going somewhere normal. Let's just go to the desktop. Save. And it's going to compress the AIF. And I'm going to go into Finder. Let's get rid of old lady there. We're going to go into the Finder and go to the desktop, and we're going to find what we just exported, which was, let's see here, date modified, the next movement, AIF, bring it in, bam. Now this will not give you the clicks or pops, okay? This will play smoothly, it will export smoothly, everything's all set. So now that we have the right file in, let's talk about how to move this stuff around and play with it. The first thing you saw before, you hit the period key, and this isn't the period key on your kind of normal keyboard. I'm talking about the period key that is on your numeric keypad all the way over to the right by the zero, big zero button and the enter button. On a laptop, this may be tricky. You may have to do a function something or other, but that period key, just like that, will play audio only. So if you have animation going on and you just want to demo the audio, hit the period key and that'll go. Now, other than that, this track will work pretty much just like a normal normal layer. You can, you know, split the clip, you can edit it, retime it, do a bunch of things. But keep in mind that if you edit audio within After Effects, you're going to run into issues with you're going to run into resolution issues, basically. Now, in an editing program or in an animation program like After Effects, the resolution of your time is split into frames. So we have, in this case, 30 frames per second, which means the closest you can move this audio track is 1/30th of a second. And that's just not enough resolution to do an edit sometimes. When you want things to be on beat, now I'm talking strictly about audio. Basically, this is the difference between editing your audio in an animation or editing program and editing your audio in a audio program where it should be done. In an audio program, you can have resolution up to thousandths of a second and really get the timing right. If you want to match timing, or you want to loop a section of audio, or you want to cut out the crappy guitar solo in the middle, or loop the guitar solo, whatever you want, those kind of edits should happen outside of After Effects. So that's just kind of a warning. Okay, so let's say we have our final piece in here, we're animating, and let's say around here we want to do a simple fade out. This is something you can do in After Effects. Let me show you how to do that. Some people do it kind of the wrong way. Now, built into the audio track, if you kind of flip this open, audio, you have a waveform, which you can see right here. So there's waveform. And you also have audio levels, which, let's say right here, we want it to start fading out, right? So we set a keyframe for audio levels, and 0 decibel. This is where things can be confusing if you're not familiar with audio. 0 decibel here kind of means normal loudness, kind of as it came in, 0 decibels. And then a lot of people will just keyframe this, come down to 2 seconds, and keyframe this all the way down, which is the lowest volume it can go, which is this negative 48 decibels. And you figure, okay, that's fine. It was loud here, and we want it to fade out soft. So let's just listen to that. It's a little too sudden, and the reason is it's not a linear move. Decibels are not linear. In other words, every time I can't be sure now. I think it's every 3 decibels you go down, audio drops in half. I can't be sure of that. Maybe I should have looked that up. But basically, these numbers are not a linear set of numbers, which means things get quiet very quickly and kind of suddenly instead of kind of slowly fading out. And this is even more obvious if we go to 16, kind of give it a 4-second fade. And you can actually see this in the waveform. If you look down here in the waveform, you can see as we kind of bring it out that things are loud, and then instantly, even though we want this fade to go from here to here, that instantly it starts kind of fading off, and it's almost gone by the time we get to there. So let's check this out. Not quite as natural of a fade as if we use some audio controls. So let's go back here and undo that. And we're going to go into audio in our effects and presets here. And actually going to use, sometimes I just search for it, stereo mixer. So I'm going to add the stereo mixer. And now we have a little bit more control. We have control over left and right pan. And we also, and this is more important, we have a percentage level now of loudness that we could use to pan or kind of fade the music out. So I just set 2 keyframes for left and right audio level. And we're going to go do a 4-second fade here over 4 seconds, go to 0. And now I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the waveform anymore. Hey, it does. And you can see now actually that when we start to move these keyframes around, you could just see it visually. It's not as drastic of a drop off. It's actually dropping in a linear fashion to 0. So now if we play this, that's a little bit more of a natural fade, kind of getting slowly quieter until we reach the end. Now, again, this may be a nitpicky thing. You may not you may not care about the little kind of intricacies of audio levels, but just be aware that using decibel to lower volume is much different than using the percentage. So keep that in mind if you're doing any audio editing in After Effects. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you is just in the preview tab here, you have option to turn on and off audio. So I get a lot of questions that says, I brought in my audio, everything's in, it seems to be working, and I have no audio. Now, this could be because of two. This could happen because of two reasons. One is that this mute audio button could be on, and if that's the case, of course, you just unmute it and you're ready to go. The other thing is if you use spacebar, like I just did now, to preview your animations, you will not get audio. A lot of people use spacebar to kind of do kind of a fake RAM preview. Try not to get in the habit of using spacebar. You really want to do a full RAM preview with the 0 key over on the keypad. So again, the 0 key, full RAM preview with audio. The period key is only audio, and then the spacebar is just is just video, really. And it's kind of a fake way to do a RAM preview. So really, just try to use the 0 and the period key over on the side. And I think that's it for audio. Now there's a ton of other effects and things you could play around with in audio here. There's a whole audio kind of like pre-made settings and all these effects. You have delays and all this stuff. But again, don't get too carried away with these things. After Effects is a really crappy audio tool. So get into something like Adobe Audition or Soundtrack or even GarageBand, something like that, to do any of your audio editing, and then kind of bring the final into After Effects.